I'm Vannais. I'm in Woodland Middle School and I'm here with.
Mrs. Vannais?
And do you acknowledge that you're being recorded and this can be posted publicly?
Yes.
So, Miss Vannais, tell me a little bit about yourself outside of being a teacher.
I am a wife and a mother of 3 boys and a daughter and a sister and play many other roles outside of the classroom.
What subject do you teach inside of school?
I am a 6th through 8th grade middle school science teacher.
And how many years have you taught?
I have been teaching 24 years, and ironically, this is the school that I attended as a kid, so my heart is very close to home being here at Woodland School. I feel very strongly about giving back to the community, so this has been where I received my education, and now 24 years I have been teaching middle school science.
Did you always want to be a teacher, or what kind of made you in this route?
I did always remember wanting to teach, playing teacher at home, having my little sister be my student. I always felt that I wanted to do something to work with children. Many of the teachers here at Woodland School influenced me to become a teacher. They were great role models and leaders, and from a early age, I would say since my middle school years in 6th grade, that was the route that I wanted to take and the profession that I wanted to go into from very young.
What is your favorite part of the job?
Ooh, summers. Favorite part of the job. There's a lot of favorite parts. I enjoy, obviously, the summers off and being home with my family and being able to raise my kids, having similar work schedule as their school schedule, being off on the holidays, being home on weekends. All that was a benefit and one of the reasons I wanted to go into teaching and to be able to raise a family. But aside from all that, it's definitely it's exciting to play a major role in shaping the youth of tomorrow. I enjoy working with children and knowing that I can influence their future day to day, be a positive role model, have an impact on the decisions that they make, just like those teachers when I was a student influenced me.
And to counteract that, what's the hardest or your least favorite part of the job?
The hardest part of my job would be motivating some students that maybe don't feel like they are motivated day to day. A lot of students are dealing with their own frustrations, whether it be here, whether it be with their peers or at home. So sometimes it's not always easy to get students to want to learn what you're teaching or even to participate in what you're doing each day. So I guess those students, motivating them, I do feel like it's a challenge and I embrace that challenge, but that is definitely something that's not easy on some days. Also, state testing. State testing has really changed the atmosphere in the classroom. I used to be able to do a lot more like hands-on and experimenting. A lot of things are very state testing driven in schools now. So that I find is challenging because I want there to be a little more fun for my students when they come into my class.
What is the way that you handle stress through state testing, or if kids don't want to learn, or there's just a lot going on?
I feel like I have some really great colleagues, and talking with my peers, whether it be on prep periods or lunch periods, knowing that other people are feeling the same way or in the same boat, or maybe have strategies to help you work through some of those dilemmas that you may be having in your own classroom. Maybe they have some advice or some experience that sort of helps you get through. So I feel like the collegiate support is important.
How did the job change over time?
So over time, when I first started off, I was a brand new teacher, new to the profession, had a lot to learn. There were a lot of things that you learned in the classroom at college, but there was a whole different flexibility you needed to have once you were out in a real life setting. So I was new. There were a lot of things to learn over time. I now, 24 years later, feel like I'm a veteran teacher. There's a lot of things that I do day to day that just come naturally, that before was something that I needed to learn or figure out in the beginning. The students have changed, society has changed. So technology has been a major component in a new wave or a change that I've seen in education, keeping up with the times. Students are used to having that instant kind of gratification. They can look things up on Google, doesn't take long to get an answer. Gaming and video gaming, they live in a very fast paced technological world. So I feel like in the classroom, you have to adapt to that. Like lessons have to change. The way I present information to the students needed to change. So I feel like over time we did, a lot of writing and worksheets. Now we're using computers daily in the classroom. We are using simulations and models and almost like a gaming format for some of the concepts that I teach, just to spark that interest in my students.
And what's some personal motivation that keeps you going through all these changes and all these years to keep you wanting to do this and teach the younger generations?
First and foremost, my family. My family, I want them to have a good future. I want to be able to provide for them. So, yes, obviously, the paycheck is a motivation. The retirement that's always been promised to teachers is a motivation. Having a pension that I can, retire and have a financially secure future for my children and for myself is of top priority for me. Health benefits for my family. I've always been lucky enough to have really good benefits through my teaching job, and anytime my children needed to see a doctor or my husband and I needed to see, a doctor, all that was covered through my job. So that's been a huge motivation. I feel like the future is important for my students, and really not giving up on them, not letting them down. I think it's important for them to have good role models and to know that they're loved and cared about, even in the school setting. So I'm seeing this through. I committed to teaching and having this profession until I retired, and I am almost there with 7 years to go. So I will be getting there till the end.
What is one of the major impacts that teachers have?
Major impact, you can influence a child that maybe wants to go into the educational field. I see myself when I teach science that I also may be impacting future nurses, doctors, medical staff members. Many of my students have said they enjoy science class, and I've been in the profession long enough to see students come back and say, Mrs. Vannais, I'm now, a nurse, an LPN. I want to go into forensic science. So that I feel like is a, motivator.
What are some of the hardest things to manage while balancing time between the job and just outside life?
Again, teaching, you do a lot of work outside the classroom as far as lesson planning and grading papers. It's really not a 9 to 5 job. You leave the office and it's done. I am always still thinking about what I could have improved in my lesson the day before, or what I can prepare for the next day. Running lab activities and such do require some pre-planning, but having the weekends off and allow for that flexibility. But
How do you manage to build strong and trusting relationships with your students?
This probably is first and foremost what I tell a lot of new teachers. It's all about relationship building and respect. To get respect from your students, you need to kind of give that respect. I think it's important, especially in the middle school years, students want to learn from someone they respect and they genuinely like. So, learning sort of pop culture or learning about some of their interests really helps to kind of bridge that relationship, getting to know your students and trying to work some of that maybe into your lessons, some of the new lingo or some of their sports interest, and having conversations other than the subject matter really helps to build those relationships. And I think that's first and foremost from the minute the students walk in the classroom. It's greeting them at the door, um, getting to know your students, and building that relationship is key.
And how are you able to manage a classroom and just keep all the students in check and be able to teach them?
Managing the classroom is a lot. I have 120 students that I'm responsible for that flow through my classroom daily, um, grading each and every one of them, giving feedback. It's a lot of responsibility, and having consistency and rules are important for classroom success. So I feel like I am very consistent. The students know right from the beginning of the year their expectations. When I go over assignments or go over activities, I make sure that instructions are clear and I have my students repeat back, just to make sure that they understand what the expectation is, um, to keep, classroom management successful.
Teacher burnout is a critical issue in the United States, with a staggering 90% of teachers perceiving as a serious problem and 67% considering it very serious. Schools that lead.org project that over 270,000 teachers will leave the profession each year for the next 3 years. Why do you think this is, and how can this be helped?
It's a scary statistic. I There's probably numerous reasons for teacher burnout. I can say in my 24 years when I applied for my job, the teaching field was overloaded. There was a lot of competition. Your resume went on a desk with 50, 100 other applicants. We do have trouble here at our school getting new hires, new teachers. I think part of it is the salary. Many college students are coming out with a lot of debt, and to have more debt than you're making a year, as far as salary, is not going to entice this new generation of college students. Um,
According to ZipRecruiter.com, the average salary for a teacher in America is $71,000, and the average cost to live in America is $77,000. Why do you think teachers should be paid more?
I think student teachers should be paid more because they have a very crucial role in society in shaping and educating our future. We're caring for the youth of America. We play many roles other than teacher on a daily basis. Sometimes we are a parent, sometimes we are a counselor, sometimes we are a caregiver. So the role goes above and beyond just teaching your subject matter. I also think if we increased pay, there would be more competitive. It would be more competitive in our field as far as getting qualified faculty, and we also would be able to retain more teachers in the field because they were being paid and able to meet the standard cost of living. I also think the workload on and off hours, a lot of teachers do more than just working in the classroom. It's again not the 9 to 5 shift. Many people bring homework, planning at home, grading papers at home. So the workload is more than just a 7-hour shift. I also think with the salary, many new teachers are coming into the field with a load of college debt, and some of that debt is greater than what they can make in a year salary wise. So, in order to entice people into the education field, I feel like it's important to increase salary, even for subbing, even for our aides, our paraprofessionals, support staff, all that is needed to keep a school up and running and to give students the best educational experience. And the money needs to be there to entice more people into the education field.
That's perfect. Thank you for your time.
Sure. Thank you for coming in, Colin.